All right. Hey, team, we're going to do some artwork this morning. Give me a second here to get my gears fired up and going. And then, yeah, we'll knock down some more Eberron art this morning. So give me a second here to check my signal here, see if we're coming through. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, yeah, that sounds like I'm doing pretty good. So I'm going to drop that volume down there. Blurp. And then here to blip. And then I'll take that off mute here for a bit. Here, and then Barrett, and then okay, cool. That looks good. And then we'll do the social media postings here real fast. And let's see if this is coming through okay. That's a negative, Space Ghost. Let's see if we can get this thing to happen correctly. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's up. Burp, burp. Okay, good. And then burp, and then copy, and then paste. Okay, great. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online, and we are creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the new 2024 rules. We'll be publishing this adventure when it is published on the DMsGuild. You know, when it's done. Let's see. Are we caught up on business here? Almost there. Stay on target. There. Okay, cool. Okay, the postings are done. Glip, glip. Let's go to here. There we go. All right, here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. Hey, new subscribers. Thanks a lot, guys. Notifications when we're live in the future. Here's a full playlist of all 384 episodes. Here's a bunch of the books that I've already created that are on DMsGuild. They're all free previews. You read my books. I post my books so you can read them. If you like them, then consider purchasing them. Thank you. This adventure will also be available for folks to read. Here's the book cover, Crystals in the Bar. We made this around episode 40. And without further ado, let's get into the mix. So we're going to continue working on this tree here. Let's pull the squatters aside and dip out the leaves. We were working on the branches. This will be the last episode that we need to do so. You can see here they're starting to get a little sloppy down here, so let's fix that. We'll get these done, and then we'll start working on the squatters lighting, and then from there we'll do the foreground foliage. And the broken branch where the companion fell from, and that should resolve this piece. We'll move on to the next one. So we're making progress in the book. Page layouts. We've got the front bit and all of the optional encounters resolved for part 2. There's 3 parts in total. We've completed part 1. We're working on part 2 right now. We're doing some corrections, some structural shifting for the cemetery specifically. There's like 8 encounter locations in the cemetery, and 3 of those locations have prepared encounters that we're switching over to become optional encounters. These 3 encounters relate to finding an underground, a secret passage that leads underground directly to the manifest, to the nexus of the manifest zone, which is fantastic if you want to run a one-shot with people fighting fighting undead in the cemetery, and then discovering the secret passage that leads down to what's causing the undead to be created. It's a very logical flow. But the way that it's structured currently is if the DM wants to lead the characters to the cemetery, you're pretty much using the cemetery to get into the part 3, the final dungeon. And it shortcuts the hell out of it, as intended, as a one-shot. But if you're running it as part of an ongoing adventure, that is too efficient of a route. It's going to cause the adventure to get shortcut when the DM may not intend to do so. So the best way Although we certainly explain, hey, these are optional encounters, read the thing first. If we rebuild it so that, because the way that it's built is you have wandering encounters, and then you have the prepared encounters, and then you have optional encounters at the end. If we restructure it so the optional, so that the secret passage becomes an optional encounter, if the DM that's playing the adventure is just phoning it in and just running things chronologically as they exist inside of the book from front to end, then they're going to automatically lead them into the one-shot scenario of the cemetery secret passage. So by shifting the secret passage to become an optional encounter that can lead the characters underground if you choose, then you don't accidentally stumble into it. Instead, you can find that adventure, you can find those options after all of the prepared content has been completed. The reward of the big boss fight inside of the cemetery is finding a secret passage. And since the boss fight is the last piece of information that is in the prepared section, it would just naturally flow into optional encounters from there. So if you want this, you can thus find the secret passage that was hidden behind the desk of the main boss or whatever. Or it's not there at all if you want to skip it. So cheers. That's just a structural improvement that I think is going to really help the playability of the adventure overall, just to make it idiot proof, you know? Now, DMs certainly are not idiots. However, idiot proofing for DMs makes it easier for them to not be idiots or to make idiotic decisions. So cheers to that. That's where we're at right now. Okay, great. That branch looks good. Let's move down here. This branch also looking pretty good. Last night we made good progress on the Bastion system. We're going to continue working on that today at lunch around 1:30 p.m. Seattle time. That's going to be in about 6.5 hours from now, about-ish. We'll put in a couple hours today to continue working on how item creation gets divided up amongst different facilities. Hey, Karen. So yeah, we're making progress with that Bastion system. I'm not sure what its production timeline is going to be like. I can take an idea so far before we start hitting hard lines with it, like for example the Mecha Kaiju book that I've been working on. That's about at the place where I need to start playtesting some stuff. Which means I need the bandwidth to do so, and I don't have a lot of bandwidth at the moment. I'm already running the Martial Power System as a playtest on Monday nights, and I've got my home table that runs typically on a Wednesday afternoon. Sometimes it's Monday. I think D&D is going to be Monday next week, so I won't be around for lunch on my Monday lunch stream. Instead, it will be I think I'll be here on Wednesday. I might have obligations that are going to disrupt my week. We'll see how that shakes out. I've got Dido in my head this morning. I ended up on an easy listening stream on YouTube last night and ended up like Enya and Dido and Olivia Newton-John and just a lot of good ethereal music. even though a lot of this work is going to end up behind the text and thus be masked away and invisible, I still want to have it there for the composition. I can still trim like along this. Yeah, I can still trim along this line here, but I like if I was making a square like an actual bordered composition, I would just basically trim off like that. Yeah, basically like that's how it would sit. Anyway, as it does on my social media posts when I say I go live. Hey, Domo, how you do? Pull it around here like that. We'll be done here in just a few moments, and then we'll get into the squatting characters. There. This is going to turn out nice. Have I spent 10 episodes on this? Feels like I have. I don't think I have to do a lot of pieces that are this in depth. I don't know. We'll see. I have a bunch of stock art lined up in the especially in the appendix area. A lot of the actual meat of the adventure, the visual assets are being tied up in maps and tokens, which you know, once I have a like the cemetery map that we the cemetery part 2, the Into the Mist, the manifest zone itself. Part 2 has some optional manifest zone encounters, which is largely just maps, and then we have the cemetery, which is also largely just maps, though I think an environment piece in the cemetery would be a good idea, just to give you feels for the place. So I'm open to that, but otherwise, yeah, maps are pretty much gonna, well, and then there's the boss battle. We have the token of the boss, which is probably going to be sufficient for the illustration, but we might do some sort of grandiose posing if space allows for it. Again, it's all being dictated by how much space do I have available on a page to depict anything. And honestly, the less is better. I'm fine with just the maps and the tokens being the visual assets that are absorbing the space on the page. I think the pages themselves, just the way that they're structured, is pretty visually stimulating. I don't think you get bored looking at the different pages of the document. So, like 8 streams on this piece of art currently. Oh, okay. Well, geez, thanks for checking that out. So yeah, we'll probably end up finishing this. Let's see. That's 5 inches by. That's about a 5 by 4 inch illustration. Full color, 8 episodes. I think we're doing pretty good. I could see this being a 13-hour illustration and then being done, moving on to the next one. I've spent that much time on. If you go back and look at the Spelljammer stream, the Spelljammer production stream, I spent 20 hours on some of those individual paintings, but I got to a point where when the layouts were done, I was able to do a lot of that work off stream, like I've talked about. Right now, I'm caught in time space because the layouts aren't done. So they're slowly but surely making progress, and once they do, we'll start collapsing time frames pretty quickly. Nerp, 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 there. Yeah, like we got those 20 artifacts at the in the last of the page in the appendix about like how to extend, like how to convert this adventure into a full campaign about gathering artifacts for different planes of existence. And then we have a separate artifact for each one of those items. Like I could see myself spending probably 2 or 3 hours on each one of those. So there's probably like 60 hours worth of work on that page. Oh. But you know, in the evening when I'm off screen, I typically have 2 or 3 hours I can get work done. It's just I wish I could do page layouts faster than I can, but the time required is the time that it requires, and I can't rush the process. It's not only is it getting the work done, but it's also rewiring my brain to be able to see how to do that sort of work in the future. So it's slow, but worth. I hope this 16:9 format ends up working for the public in general. It feels like the right way to explore right now, because I mean, especially it was very interesting, the conversation about tariffs in America really just crushing print production for RPG books. Like if you're trying to send to Europe or something like that, like the if you export printing of books to China, for instance, and then have your palette of books imported back in, that can crush you. Print on demand could get complicated. So the two solutions is basically work in the zine format, which is a 5x8 page, like the little half pages, pamphlet sorts that are folded over and stapled. Those are incredibly popular in the OSE scene. Or just stay digital. And digital isn't, I don't know how successful Kickstarter projects are that work strictly in digital, because it's like once it's out there, like anyone can get it. So I don't know how much motivation Kickstarter enthusiasts are about PDF product only, but it might be the optimal choice. So if that ends up being true, then working in this 16:9 format in something that's going to remain locked in a PDF format, it might not be a bad idea. But again, this is the first time I've ever built one. So I've seen one on the DMsGuild, an adventure that was in the 16:9 format, but they didn't provide a full preview, and they wanted $20 for it. I'm like, oh, fuck off. That is too expensive. In the tradition of Eberron, I will be making this adventure $13. Thicken that branch up a bit. Thank you, Timely Timer. 20 minutes in. Clean that back edge there. So the holidays slowed down our playtesting a little bit. We ended up missing a week. I suspect that's just a holidays thing. So if on Monday, if we're still hanging with 3 people for playtesting on Monday, Then I'll see if I can find someone else to play and participate, so we have a steady 4. And if absolutely everyone shows up, it should be 5 people on the team. But we've never had all 5 people show up, so we typically have 3 or 4 players, and I like 3 or 4 players personally. I think the workflow is very fast. It's very easy to process combat. Everyone has plenty of attention, so it's just fun. 3 or 4 people is fun. But it's a little unstable. Having a roster of 5, although 5 can be a little thick, assuming that people don't show up on occasion, which is typically the case in volunteer games. If I had 5, I could probably stabilize with 4 and rarely have 5. So I'm thinking that's where I want to go. But what I don't want, what would feel bad is getting too many people on the roster. And then closing the door after 5 and having like 6 or 7 people that want to play, that would suck. Because like if you don't get chosen to play more than once, then chances are you're just going to drop out. It's like, well, I'm reserving my Monday night to do this, and I didn't get to do this. So why am I reserving my Monday night? That's a problem. Fortunately, the playtesting is mostly about feels and looking for broken issues. So once we find a broken issue, we can perpetuate through higher levels, looking for that same problem. Like if something's too efficient and it's too like if you get too much value out of mana, once we reestablish what a feel good baseline is for that amount of mana, we can then push up into the higher ranks, because it only goes to 4th rank, so it's there's only 4 quote unquote levels worth of quote unquote spells in the martial power system, and they all come in at 13th levels, so it's not as extensive of a list as one might think, and it's fairly realistic to playtest that stuff. I'm just mostly what I'm interested in is just making sure that every week we're able to move forward. And holidays are an exception. I'm okay with that. So it's not like I'm scolding nobody or nothing. But these are the things I have to, like I said, if I can't get a stable 4, I need to pick up another one so I can attempt to stabilize 4, even if we end up at too many people. Okay, there's the branch, and that finishes our branches. So branches are done. We still have the broken branch to work on, but we're still working on that one. We're going to make that one. We're just going to go in that one last. So here's our foliage, and we're going to fill that in. We'll have the foreground foliage in a bit. I like how that sits. I like how that sits a lot. This looks really good. Yeah. Owie. What happens if I pull that up a touch? Cool. That's our line. That feels good. I like that. That feels legit good. Cool. Squatters. Right. Cut that dude free. We want to tilt her back. Oh yeah, because that branch got sculpted a bit. What happens if I just push him back? That feels pretty natural. I think I need to adjust that. Transform. Okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. No, I'm not. Hold on. Subtle. But valuable. Yeah, okay, that feels pretty good. Second. There. Okay, cool. Yeah, good. Good. Now let's get to work. Can I get away with merging this whole thing down? Let's see if I can get away with that. Duplicate the group, and then merge, conceal, left. I may have been too soon to do that, but let's just give it a go. So my gut's telling me to do, so trust the gut. And gut we trust. Where, how, what is up? 100. There we go. 100%. Don't know why it wasn't. Let's do it like that. Probably not the optimal brush to use. Let's just switch over to our round. Blend that butt in. Just using an eraser? That feels wrong. Scope like that instead. I'm going to be talking to myself a little bit here. I need to... I think I need to pull this leg in a bit, actually. Smooth jazz. K-Y-O-T. The Coyote. There was a jazz station in Phoenix called KYOT Coyote. And it was smooth jazz, so it would play music like this. This is the smooth, jazziest music I have. This is Epidemic stream music services. So as long as I'm subscribed to Epidemic, I can use any of the music on Epidemic as streaming music, royalty free. There. What's up? Yeah, I think it's a good mix. I prefer listening to I'm a classic rock, heavy metal, EDM kind of guy for the most part, but I also like a lot of the ethereal, like Cranberries or Enigma, Gold Frap. That more like breathy female vocalists type music I enjoy a lot, regardless of genre. You gotta remember how anatomy works here. The foreshortening. That feels pretty good. Yeah, that feels pretty good. I think that's better foreshortening arrangement than I had previously. So cool, we can let that stick. We'll resolve all this meat space here. What's up? Find my most chilled out music is actually Liquid Drum. Oh yeah, right on. It's got lots of ethereal stuff, but it's also very consistent. It's like musical me. Yeah. Good EDM can be like white noise. Just kind of blends in. I think the most successful background music is stuff that doesn't distract you anything. Like if your lyrics are too good, you're gonna just want to sing along, so you stop being productive because you're singing along. So ideally you want something that earworms a little bit, that's got a groove that keeps you moving forward, but isn't so strong that it just takes you out of whatever production you're doing. Anyway. But I'm that way with like a lot of heavy metal, like a lot of Metallica. Mick Gordon, who did the Doom Eternal soundtrack. Doom Eternal is a great soundtrack to listen to for like adventure stuff in general. I find a lot of Pantera and Sepultura to be meditative, I guess is the right word for that. I'm starting to feel pretty good. Ranmahara. Ranmahara. That's such a great album. That whole Chaos AD album is just hardcore, man. Definitely Radhamahara. Biotech Godzilla. I mean, Territory and Refuse Resist. There's this really, really just good music. Their follow-up, Roots. That's an amazing album. Sepultura Roots is just, that shit is the bee's knees. So aggressive. It's such a well-engineered album. It sucks. There was something about that like mid-90s burst where just like there's a lot of kick-ass bands that just completely imploded because of egos. Like White Zombie. I don't know how much of a metal enthusiast you are, Domo, but like White Zombie had just picked up Tempestra from from Exodus as their drummer. And he was the level of percussion aggression that band, that White Zombie, really needed to launch into just amazing music. And then it immediately collapsed because the drummer was I guess a really good friend of Rob Zombie, and he had just the most. I mean, no shitting on the drummer. I can't drum worth a damn, but the music that he had. The original, I don't remember the name of the original drummer for White Zombie, but he had a very sort of ponderous guitar. Like his drums didn't drive; they were more like, it was more like stripper sets, you know, like it had a lot of swing and groove, which is where White Zombie came from. But they didn't have like their drummer was very much that swing groove sort of feel that prevents them from. Like, it's not aggressive, and a lot of aggression in a song comes from the percussion of the drums. So they had the band between the guitarists and the bassist. They had a lot of really cool groove ability, but they lacked aggression from their drummer to be able to drive them out, to be able to drive them, to push them into you, and that so Astro Creep 2000, Astro Creep 5000, Astro Creep 2000. Thank you. This is Astro Creep. Anyway, Astro Creep was an amazing aggressive album that just exploded, and then they just fell apart. The lead singer decided that he wanted to keep making stripper-like music and made Rob Zombie, and then the rest of the band just kind of dripped out. That's a shame. God, that music was so amazing. I miss you, the 90s music. Death of an era. Oh my God, it's Friday already. These holidays in the middle of the week just completely scuttled my work schedule. It feels like Monday or Tuesday right now, not Friday. Blah. That arm feels pretty good though. I was raised in 80s metal from my parents. Yeah, right on. But grew up in the 90s and 2000s. Same. Yeah, I'm about 50 now myself. That was really the sweet spot where like real classic rock was still reachable. Like it wasn't so far beyond us growing up. Like we were born when like a lot of that music was still being played on the radio, so it kind of has like this background radiation in our mind that is like, yeah, that's just good music. And then you carry that into like new metal and where pop was going in the 90s. So you have this neat clash of like classic rock or old school music bumping into the newer electronica. That and from there, I think like the new metal helped open up bridge a gap into EDM, like Ministry and Skinny Puppy and Revolting Cocks. That whole Elaine Jorgensen sort of cloud of indie music that's like Front 2 for 2, Aphex Twin, that early stage electronica music. But it was packed with a lot of like drum machines were easy to pull off. So there was this wave of like intro EDM music, which was all built out of speed metal. and then it downshifted into house, and so that's where like Prodigy came from. Good mix, good era of music. That new discovery. And rap was really taking off as well. First generation rap in the 80s, like Run DMC and even Beastie Boys, for instance, was evolving into a broader audience. So it was pulling itself away from the 80s hip hop into its own creature. So it was like a real thick medley of just different flavor of music that was being invented during that time. It was just good. It's just a good time to be alive. I listened to almost the entire Led Zeppelin 3 album last night. Like the 70s music didn't go anywhere. It's just a matter of are you aware of it or not? If you're aware of it, you listen to it. If you aren't aware of it, you just haven't been exposed to it yet, you know? Because good music is just good music. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't need to do anything. It just is. I feel like I'm about to run out of time. Yeah, still got 10 minutes. It's going to get covered with the leg, but I still want it here for structure. Working in layers like this lets me get the arm and the torso right, so that when I overlay it with the foreshortened leg above it, I'm pretty happy with that. That doesn't hurt. That feels pretty good. It doesn't have to be insane detailed. The anatomy's there. You just got to keep just fleshing it out so it just follows the rule of fabric, and this will be done. It'll be easy peasy. So I'll put this one on hold for the weekend, and I don't know if there's a chance I'm going to finish this one over the weekend, just because I think we're going to have some hang time on stream. Not on stream, sorry. I'm going to have some hang time on Discord with friends this weekend. So when I'm just hanging out with people, I'm usually doing artwork on top of it because, thought flow and stuff. It's something I can do. I guess it's like like art is my fidgeter. I have a fidgeter here that I make use of. It's got this cool skull and crossbone motif going on with it, if I can catch that in the light. Anyway, it's hard to catch. Let's make it sit upright up. Burp. There you go. Skull and crossbones. The bones spin around the skull. So that's my fidgeter. And if I don't get to do artwork, I find myself fidgeting. So artwork evolved into fidgeting for me, or it satisfied that fidgety itch that I have. So if I'm not painting, I'm fidgeting. So when I'm hanging out with friends and stuff, especially if it's online, I'm usually arting something. So I should be able to art this weekend. I would not be surprised if it wasn't done on Monday, and then I'll just fire up another piece. I'm hoping to get another section of part 2 completed this weekend. Because there's the gatehouse, the flooded fort, and the cemetery, and the cemetery is like 10 pages. The flooded fort is 8 pages, and the gatehouse is 4 pages, and then we drop underground into part 3. So we're making our way through the adventure slowly but surely. Sometimes I get log jammed because I don't know how to organize a page, but I think at this point all the pages that I could possibly do, I have a format for already. So now I don't have to innovate. Now I just have to replicate. I believe is where we're at with the piece now. So slowly but surely making progress. We'll get there. Pull that arm in a bit. Here. We're faking the shoulder with fabric folding and foreshortening. But I think it works. This style of smudge dragging pixels works really well for fabric, so I'm really happy with that. A lot of the art I do is sculpting. A lot of artists will layer paint on top of it by painting over and painting the specific shape of shadow that they want. But with the digital tools, the way that I do it is I just grab the shadow that I want and I smudge it across the space. Like these pectorals here, I'm smudging the shadow from the fold of the shirt into the pecs. Instead of drawing these shapes specifically, I'm sculpting them, so like yonder. I'll thicken up that arm here like that. The other. We're almost done for the day. Yep, I hear you, buddy. Thank you. All right, the best time to stop, was it Van Gogh who said the best time to stop is when you want to keep going so that you're excited to come back to the piece and continue it? Best way to prevent burnout. All right, we're going to stop there while I can. That feels pretty good. The place there, overall, decent composition. Okay, so that's it for now. We're going to come back at lunchtime, and we're going to continue plotting. We have all the, now in the Bastion system, we now have all the items from the player's handbook and the DMG. Well, I mean, just categories of magic items, but like poisons and siege weapons and stuff like that. We have all the items. for 5e24 in the document now. Our next step for the Bastion system is to start parsing out what each piece of equipment that's listed out in the PHB, what facilities can we create those things in. So that'll give us a laundry list of different facilities that characters might want to invest in to have access to different types of materials. And once we see how that breaks down, we'll see how much variety actually exists among different structures. So, I'm seeing here this branch is I'll need to thicken this line here real quick before we bounce. Like that. Do like that. All right, I'm supposed to be gone. The muse wouldn't let me go, but I need to go. Come on, baby, let me go. Let me go, baby. All right, we can mess around with that later. Jeez. Let go, baby. All right, cool. That's it for now. I will be back at 1:30, which is it's 8 o'clock now, so that'll be 5.5 hours from now. We'll work on Bastion some more. And yeah, thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. Karen, Domo, thanks a lot, my guys. And anyone else that's creeping around in the future, swing by, say hi. I've got a slew of books that are in the description down below on DMsGuild. They're all free previews, so you can read as much of my content as you want. If you like it, consider buying some to support the effort. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Cheers.